Hey, BookTube, Sean here, coming to you with my week in books, which is actually my 2 weeks in books since I didn't post a video last week. I hadn't read a whole lot, and I also was having a really bad migraine on the day I would normally film it. And I had another one the next day, and by that time it was Tuesday, and figured I might as well just wait a week, since I didn't have a lot to talk about anyway. So, anyway, let's get into it. I have finished, since my last update, I finished 3 books. One of them is a play. So the play I finished, I read The 39 Steps, which is adapted by Patrick Barlow from a concept by Simon Corbell and Nabi Damone, which was off of the book by John Buchan. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. It's Buchan, which was adapted into a movie by Alfred Hitchcock. So the play uses pretty much the script from the movie and adapts it to the stage. I read this because I was possibly considering directing it next year, and I decided not to put in to direct it. The script is only okay. A lot of the funniness of the play comes into the gimmicks of it. It's a 4-person script where one man plays the primary character, who is on the run, who ends up embroiled in an espionage plot and ends up on the run for murder that he didn't do, and he's got to figure out what the woman who died in his apartment was trying to find out so that he can clear himself of the murder. So yeah, there's one guy who plays him, and then a woman who plays 3 of the women in the play, and then 2 actors called Clown 1 and Clown 2 who play every other character in the play. So a lot of the novelty of this play is in the gimmick of those 2 clowns constantly changing characters. There's even a scene where they play 3-4 different characters in the same scene, and they just keep switching hats. So I decided not to direct it, one, because I didn't absolutely love the script. I would be a good director for it because it uses a brand. I'm pretty knowledgeable with Hitchcock, and it uses a brand of British humor that I am very familiar with. So I would be a decent director for it, but I didn't love the script, and it would need a lot of really good technical support that I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get. So I decided to not direct it, but it is an interesting script. I also finished I gotta look this up, I apologize. I just got home, and I decided I had some time before my wife is going to be done with rehearsal, and I decided I'm going to film right now. And I didn't prepare shit, and I just sat down and turned the camera on. So, okay, I finished The Boulevard Monster by Jeremy Hepler, and that was nominated for the Bram Stoker First Novel Award this year. And I really enjoyed that. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It is about a man who gets involved in burying bodies for a serial killer, but the serial killer seems to have some supernatural abilities as well. So he is trapped in this scheme of burying his victims, and he is making money doing it, and it's helping out his family quite a bit. But then eventually, obviously, his moral compass starts to take over, and he wants to get out. So it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Definitely recommend it. And the other one I finished was also a first novel Bram Stoker nominee. It was What Do Monsters Fear by Matt Hayward. And I didn't enjoy this one as much as the other ones I have read, the other 3 that I have read for that were nominated. I ended up giving this one 3 out of 5 stars. It's a relatively short book. An ex-rocker goes to a rehab facility, and this rehab facility is not really a rehab facility and is trying to awaken something. Is the basic lowdown of the book. It took a while to get going, and I think that like it opened great with a scene of a body coming back to life and killing his former girlfriend, and you kind of got a sense of creepiness to come, but then that didn't happen. Then nothing kind of creepy or supernatural really started going down until more than halfway through the book, and it's a short book, so that's okay. But it, for a while, it just felt like I don't even know it. I just finished it this morning, so I really haven't processed my thoughts on it great, so I apologize. But my Kindle edition had a lot of typos in it, which I don't fault the author for. But there was this aspect of they were all there for rehab, but once things really got going, the author really I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I'm sorry. The author didn't really. He only brought up their withdrawal when it was kind of convenient. It would go along great, and the three main people seemed to not be suffering any withdrawal symptoms or anything. Then all of a sudden, when it was convenient it was almost like, oh yeah, I should bring up that they're trying to recover from something. That's kind of what it felt like. It felt like the rehabilitation and them suffering from addiction was a catalyst for the story, but didn't end up affecting the characters much at all, and it really should have. So I think that was my main problem with the book. But it was still enjoyable. I still enjoyed reading it, but it wasn't definitely not my favorite of the ones I've read. And I have one more Bram Stoker first novel nominee to win that was nominated for this year, and that is In the Valley of the Sun by Andy Davison. So expect an update on that within a week or two, hopefully. I think I'm going to be digging into it pretty soon, because it's the only one I have left. And then I'm going to start reading Bram Stoker. I'm going to start reading Bram Stoker First Novel Award winners, and there is also a link that somebody on Twitter provided me, Stephanie, and Rachel, just in a tweet thread that we had going on, of the list that the Horror Writers Association kind of works off of to kind of garner the nominations. So it's a really great resource to have. So I'm gonna I bookmarked the link, and I'm gonna try to keep up as much as I can with the books that get put on that list. So hopefully I'm ahead of the game for next year's Stokers. So that'll be cool. Anyway, that's what I have finished. I'm still working on Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Let's see, look at my Goodreads here. I did not prepare at all. I got time. I'm going to film. I've been working on a reread of The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker, which I really need to get back to. I still working on 12 Kings of Sherkai. I haven't touched that in a few weeks, but I still have it going. I started Black Mad Wheel by Josh Mallerman. I decided I wanted to read that before I read On Barry Carroll, just because I don't know, I'm weird about stuff, and since I had Black Mad Wheel already, and I just kind of wanted to read Bird Box, Black Mad Wheel, then On Barry Carroll. I don't know. Just how I decided to do it, I guess. I don't know. So I also started. And it's going to take me a while to read this one because it's a massive book. But I also started Swan Song by Robert McCammon, just because I wanted to get into another big tome. I haven't done a big tome since Pillars of the Earth, and that was one of my goals this year, is to tackle my larger tomes to so that hopefully size intimidation, length intimidation isn't a factor for me anymore. So yeah, I started Swan Song by Robert McCammon. Plus, I've heard that his new book, The Listener, is possibly a heavy favorite in the Stokers next year, and I kind of want to read at least one of his old books before I dig into his newest work. So, and Swan Song has always been one I really wanted to read. So now I am. It's probably going to be a slow go, but we'll see. Anyway, so that's what I've been working on. Except for one other thing, I went to the library today to pick up a hold, and my hold was Elma Katsu's The Hunger, which I had started on audio through Scribed, but my hold came in, so I'm on chapter 12 of this, so I might switch over to reading the physical, because I haven't had a ton of audiobook time lately, because I sometimes have trouble listening to audio while I work, because my brain has to focus on what I'm doing. Sometimes my tasks aren't mindless, and sometimes my tasks are mindless and I can kind of listen to an audiobook and do what I'm doing, but lately they've been requiring a little bit more of my brain power than what I can listen to an audiobook during. And my wife and I carpool most days, so I'm not alone in my car a lot to listen to audiobooks either. So I think I'm going to switch over to the physical on this. But I've gotten some books. In fact, I got some books today. I was at the used bookstore today. That was one of my errands while I was out. And I've gotten some book mail. So let's dig into the haul portion. I got my own copy of Paperbacks from Hell. I couldn't renew it at the library anymore, so I finally broke down and paid the money and got my own copy. So I'm still working on that too. I'm on about around halfway through that, so I'm still slowly reading that, and that of course has gotten me wanting to check out all these old horror paperbacks and try and read them and acquire some, which brings me to I've gotten House of Illusions by Ruby Jean Jensen, and also Baby Dolly by Ruby Jean Jensen. I really don't know much about what these are about, but I saw Ruby Jean Jensen mentioned on a Twitter thread, and I looked into her, and she was an author I wanted to check out. And the only way you can get her book, like, they're not available on Kindle, they're out of print. The only way you can get them is like through used bookstores or Amazon Marketplace, and some of them are going for insane amounts of money for used mass market paperbacks because they're collectible. So I managed to find a couple for a price I didn't mind paying. I have trouble paying over $10 for a mass market paperback used, and that's including shipping. So, but this one, I was disappointed when I got it. You see this damage to the baby's face right here? There was a UPC sticker right across the center of this book, and part of the thing with these old horror paperbacks is the covers. They're the cool, creepy covers, and there's not many things creepier to me than dolls. Dolls, especially like porcelain dolls and shit, those creep me out. So I was disappointed when I pulled the sticker, which was a tough sticker to get off, and it's left glue on there, and I think I finally got all the sticky residue off, but the sticker took little pieces of the baby's face with it, and I was so disappointed. I left a comment on Amazon Marketplace about it, so that was a disappointment when I opened that. And so that's what I've gotten in the mail, except for this. This just came in the mail today from Wonderkind PR. I know what this is, but we'll do a little opening together. This is Space Opera by Catherine Valente. This is her newest book. I've been expecting this for a while, and it finally came. Actually, my Kindle pre-order came in before. I kept my Kindle pre-order because I wasn't sure if I was still getting this book or not from them. So I kept my Kindle pre-order, so I have it on Kindle, and I have this now. So let's read it really quick. So I can let you guys know what it's about. I know it's kind of a Euro pop in space thing, which to me sounded kind of cool. So a century ago, the sentience wars tore the galaxy apart and nearly ended the entire concept of intelligent spacefaring life. In the aftermath, a curious tradition was invented by the remnants of civilization, something to cheer up everyone who was left, something to celebrate having escaped total annihilation by the skin of one's teeth, if indeed one has skin or teeth. Something to bring the shattered worlds together in the spirit of peace, unity, understanding, and the most powerful of all social bonds, excluding others. Once every cycle, the great galactic civilizations gather for the Metagalactic Grand Prix, part gladiatorial contest, part beauty pageant, part concert extravaganza, and part, a very large but very subtle part, continuation of the wars of the past. The powerful species that survived compete in feats, not of orbital combat, but of song, dance, and or whatever facsimile of these can be performed by various creatures who may or may not possess, in the traditional sense, feet, mouths, larynxes, or faces. And if a new species should wish to be counted among the high and the mighty, if a new planet has produced some savage group of animals, machines, or algae that claim to be, against all odds, sentient, well, then they will have to compete. If a species fails, they will be quickly exterminated by the powers that be, so as to avoid another costly and annoying sentience war. It's a mercy, really, one must always think of the greater good, after all. This year, a bizarre and unsightly species has looked up from its muddy planet-bound cradle and noticed the enormous universe blaring on around it, humanity. Where they expected to one day reach out into space and discover a grand drama of diplomacy, gunships, wormholes, and stoic councils of grave aliens, they have found glitter, and lipstick, and pyrotechnics, and electric guitars. Decibel Jones and the Absolute Zeros on somewhat dubious mid-zeros Britpop sensation fallen on hard times and harder luck have been chosen to represent their planet on the greatest stage in the galaxy, and the fate of Earth lies in their ability to rock. That just sounds fun. I've heard mixed reviews about this, but I don't know, it sounds fun. I'm really excited to the cover is really cool too. So I'm really excited I was able to get a physical copy of this. So thank you, Wonderkind PR. I really appreciate it. I'm hopefully going to get to that real soon. And I'm still in that horror mood, though, so it's been tough to get to other things. And I have a little bag of... I haven't even unpacked yet, seriously. I know my wife's going to be texting me pretty soon to go to dinner after rehearsal, so I'm just slipping this in so I don't have to do it tomorrow. Okay. So I went to the used bookstore. I was looking for horror paperbacks. I got Bentley Little's The Revelation, and this is a Bram Stoker First Novel Award winner. Pretty sure it's first novel. Let me check my spreadsheet real quick. First novel. It says Bram Stoker. I'm pretty positive this is the... Oh, yep, there it is. The Revelation, 1990. So, yep, Bram Stoker First Novel Award winner. So... that will be for that list that I want to do. I got, this cover looked really cool. James Herbert, Sepulture. I think this might be in Paperbacks from Hell. I think I remember seeing it in there. And again, I don't know much about it. There is a house deep in the English countryside that is filled with dark and terrible secrets. A psychic blessed with the power to spot gold, diamonds, and oil beneath the earth's surface. His bodyguard Halloran, whose gnawing curiosity seals his fate in a tomb of unearthly fear. An ancient evil so horrifying that dreaming of it can cause madness, death, and worse. Vague, but intriguing. So, yeah, but I really liked the cover. That's kind of why I bought it. And I also got some books by Brian Lumley, who wrote back in the 80s, I believe. Yeah, 80s. A vampire series called Necroscope. That's what he's most known for. And I've read part of Necroscope a long time ago, but I definitely want to get back to it. But I got The House of Doors by him. It's a standalone novel that he did. Again, really, really freaking cool cover. And then they had the entire Psychomech trilogy. Psychomech, Psychosphere, and Psychomuck. And his covers all have these like skulls on them somewhere. They're usually all based around some sort of skull, vampire skull of some sort. But in this series, is about a man who gets mental abilities from a machine called the Psychomech. And the trilogy, the first 2 books follow him, and then the third book follows his son. And I believe his son has to go and do battle with the Psychomech that gave his father the powers that he inherited. So, kind of sci-fi horror in these ones. And then this one is a man's fears control his fate. The House of Doors waits silent. Its dozen doors a mystery. Open one and step through into terror. Trapped inside the House of Doors, a group of scientists and spies soon determine that the menaces they battle are formed from their own subconscious fears, those terrible horrors which are impossible to control or eradicate. Hellfire, eternal damnation, death, and worse assail the house's victims. One door conceals the way to safety, but all may die before they find it. That sounds cool. Yeah, and like I said, Brian Lumley is an author I've always wanted to get back to, and his covers are just fantastic. So that's it. That is the book haul portion. That's my weekend books. What have you guys been reading over the past couple weeks? What are you liking? What are you enjoying? What are you disliking? Yeah, sorry, my mind's racing a mile a minute. But yeah, thank you to all my subscribers. Anybody new to my channel, if this is your first time seeing one of my videos, sorry for the craziness, and I hope you stick around. Hit the subscribe button to see more videos from me. I know I don't say that a lot because I don't like pushing the subscriptions, because for me it's not about the subscriptions. But yeah, it's the best way to know when I've posted new videos. So if you like my content, hit the subscribe button, and the bell icon will notify you when I post new videos if you want to know. Anyway, that's my little YouTube spiel there. I probably won't do another one for a few months. Anyway, that's it. Hook up with me on social media, post in the comments. Let's connect. And I will see you all in my next video.